Hallo liebe Zuschauer und noch viel wichtiger, wie es gleich in ein paar Momenten erkenntlich sein wird, Zuhörer. Roadwarden, was wir heute spielen werden, ist ein sehr textlastiges Spiel auf Englisch. Ich bin relativ gut in Englisch, in geschriebener und leserlicher Form, aber nicht in vorleserlicher Form. Das mache ich einfach nicht oft. Ihr werdet also jetzt sehr viel Gameplay sehen, bei dem sehr, sehr viel gelesen wird. Und ich werde an vielen Stellen ein bisschen stottern, weil ich mich an einem Wort aufhänge oder weil mir eine Aussprache irgendwie komisch vorkommt, weil die englische Sprache nun mal nicht ganz so einfach ist. Ich hoffe, ihr verzeiht mir das und ich hoffe, ihr habt trotzdem ein bisschen Spaß beim Zusehen und noch viel wichtiger, Zuhören bei Roadwarden. Danke fürs Zugucken. Wait 2 days for the lost, 10 for the wounded, 20 for the ill and mad. Then it's time to grieve. Hallo liebe Leute, heute spielen wir Roadwarden. So ungefähr eine Stunde. Hier ist nämlich wieder David. Und heute bei Spiel eine Stunde spielen wir Roadwarden. Ich weiß überhaupt nichts über dieses Spiel. Ich habe gesehen, dass auf dem Steam Overview Dingsy ein Typ steht mit einer Axt, glaube ich, auf dem Rücken. Und einem schicken Cape. Und ich habe zuerst gedacht, das ist ein Spiel mit Controller. Deswegen hatte ich zuerst mit Controller aufgenommen und war dann etwas verwundert, dass ich nichts machen konnte. Dieses Spiel wurde mir geschenkt von einem sehr guten Kumpel. Und ich wollte mal schauen, ob das was für mich ist. Aber wenn er der Meinung ist, das ist so, dann wird es höchstwahrscheinlich auch so sein. Je nachdem, wie viel Grinding dieses Spiel hat. Gucken wir doch mal. Gucken wir mal, ob wir das vielleicht auf Deutsch stellen können. Aber das sieht fast nicht so aus. Was haben wir hier? Basic Pixel. Fast. Ja, lassen wir doch einfach mal so. Gut, also alles auf Englisch. Wird jetzt so sein. Kein Continue, kein Load. New Game. Visit Windy Meadow. Ich schätze mal, das ist der Entwickler. Wir lassen es mal so. New Game. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Roadwardens not only accept the struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants burn human corpses, and, if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one. And it pays well. I leave the safety of the city walls. I still have my doubts. Raus aus der Stadt. Pick a difficulty mode. Its choice can't be altered later on. Okay. Casual, standard, familiar with RPGs, 40-day limit, regular rules set restrictive. Returning Roadwardens, 30-day limit, increased nighttime damage. Wir nehmen mal Standard. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around, no stench of blood, good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You were supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sound of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beast folk, nor trolls. And the night is near. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had a long day. Ich bin mir nicht ganz sicher, was ein palfrey ist, aber ich würde mal schätzen, irgendein Transporttierchen. I could just look for another shelter. I need to look around, cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. I get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. 30 Minuten vor Sonnenuntergang. Okay, wir gehen langsam zum Tor und gucken mal rein. Your heavy boots hit the ground and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. Hätte ich gewusst, dass ich so viel lesen muss und das quasi eine Visual Novel ist, zumindest bis jetzt, hätte ich vielleicht ein paar Vocal Warm-Ups gemacht. Na egal. I approached the gate slowly. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chance you'll die in combat. Okay, I feel well. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space, the fire pit is cold. Two people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a light-hearted drinking song from the city harbor. Zwei Leute, ja, sitzen da, ignorieren sich. Das wird schon passen. It takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes. His beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace with a head covered in iron hangs at its side, but he doesn't reach for it. I take a look at the second soul. Just like you, he's wearing the gambeson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she's took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven, as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are wary, yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad has sent her here half a year ago, these two surely look the part, though there should be more of them. 8, you believe. I let them speak first. It's nice to see an unharmed traveler in this godforsaken shithole. Makes me just a tiny bit hopeful. The bearded man's voice is strong, yet timid. You'll be staying the night with us, I guess. We're soldiers, he and I, adds the armored woman. Her voice switches from half asleep to relaxed. We'll do your best to keep the camp safe. But if you were to take the first watch, it would be a huge help. Travelers ought to help each other, wouldn't you say? You think for a moment. To fully rest, you need a good sleep. Die schläft mir bald ein. I'm exhausted. The man looks away. If you say so, though better keep your axe nearby. The nights here can get spooky. I'd say sinister, the other soldier snorts. I asked them about their lieutenant. You wonder how to phrase your question. Whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes. Friendly, supportive and cordial, playful, use a joke or a witty comment. Distanced, hide your emotions. Intimidating, hint at a threat. Vulnerable, be sad, tired, afraid or hopeless. Wir sind mal freundlich. Ich kann hier auch draufklicken? Ah, ich kann es wegklicken, okay. Wir sind freundlich für den Anfang, ne? I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? The woman lets out a loud sigh, dusts off her gambeson and steps towards you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. We most definitely can, you and I, though holding this rank is still somewhat new to me. Are you a messenger? Did you lose your mount? She observes you with curiosity. Or are you looking for help? I'm your new Roadwarden. My horse is waiting outside. Vorhin war nicht die Sprache von einem Horse. Really? The soldier in the shirt leans forward. That explains how you got here in one piece all by yourself. Better bring your beast here, adds the lieutenant. We have no hay. But I bet it dreams of dropping its saddle. A long pause. I'm Tulia, by the way. She reaches out her hand. Meine Güte, kann heute gar nicht mehr artikulieren. She reaches out her hand. It may be a trap. I gestured for her to stop, pretending to be embarrassed. I should wash myself first, but you can call me. Wer weiß. Wer weiß. Die Kutte sich einfach übergeworfen hat, wer weiß. Maybe a trap. These people can call me Terner. Confirm. The lieutenant stands with her hand out, but then raises her arms with an awkward smile. Of course. Just keep your horse away from the tents. She steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. We should also prepare for the night. The soldier in the shirt also rises to his feet. We've no tent to spare. You'll have to use a blanket or something. That's fine. You walk through the gate. Your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than you, but also bulky, as heavy as it's strong. You can get it in the saddle without a single breath, but most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. Horses were brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquest in the south. You can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you would be lost. You too would be lost. Okay, ich nehme mal an, palfrey ist ein Wort für Gestüt, das mir nicht bekannt ist. Und not only humans. Okay. And not many humans, okay. Merkwürdig, dass wir so klein sind, oder entweder sind die Pferde so groß? Ja, wer weiß. Vielleicht sind wir Hobbits. It's my only companion here. I wanted to feel at ease. I don't care how it feels, but I needed to be strong if I want to travel, and I can't afford another one. Nee, ist mein Bro ist das. It takes a few steps towards you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Humans see useful animals and even pets, a monster in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. But you know that horses need companionship. I speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy, for such a strong animal, with enough time it starts to chafe. You wish it had something better to eat than the shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Worst of all, you have no rope left. But maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions, essential for your trade. Fighter. Gute Axt. Mage. Talisman. Power. Scholar. Alchemical ingredients as well. Iron axe. One Gambison. Small healing potion. Scholar klingt ganz gut für mich. So. Alchemische Zutaten und Schreibinstrumente, das klingt mega hilfreich. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still there. Just in case, you take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife, nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes. but this doesn't make it any more exciting. Taking hits will damage your armor. You can then fix it in various settlements. Okay. Armor. It will stop the lighter attacks, but not for long. Inventory. Unless you're occupied with another task, you can eat, drink potions, use your items from this menu. Be sure to click on each new item you receive, as some of them can have unusual applications. Food rations. Small healing potion. Pouch with coins. Gamson. Chemical ingredient. Travel set. Okay. Ja, genau das habe ich nicht auch gedacht. Hier steht, most Northerners are illiterate, but they are happy to meet someone who can write a letter in their name. Das habe ich mir nämlich schon gedacht. Wenn in so einer Fantasy-Welt kann es manchmal sein, dass die Leute keine Ahnung von nix haben und deswegen wäre es dann immer ganz praktisch, wenn man solche Wissensstandards hat, dann kann man denen vielleicht helfen. I return to the soldiers. They're at the table again, observing your beast and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of the wooden bowls. There's no meal for you, but you can sit down on the tree log. I take some of my own rations. In the last inn you got a smelling loaf of dark bread, decorated with sunflower seeds. It tastes great, even by itself. When on the road, most people have to think about themselves. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their group as they face dozens of hideous creatures. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. Roadwardens, on the other hand, learn how to work by themselves. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same road for years. They help the settlements stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships. When there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles. I eat slowly, enjoying myself. In the meantime, I speak with Tulia. Keeping your stomach full will make you stronger. Starvation won't allow you to restore vitality while resting. You can find your supplies in the inventory. Nourishment. Ein halbgefüllter Magen. Boing! It's much easier for you to overcome physical struggles. She's focused and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I can only say as much as I know, and that's not much. She nods toward the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead. 1 has run away in tears. We are also strangers in the land, adds her companion. Any piece of information may help me do my job. The man leans forward. His legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick. Whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than your original thought. What did the officials tell you? I expect not that much. No soul governs these lands. I share what I consider to be relevant. What I've discussed with the officials should stay between them and me. Naja, das kann man schon erzählen. You tell the soldiers how little guidance you've received. Since this area is too far away from Hovlavan to keep it under control, you were warned that it's untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villages, bandits or monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses, or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance. Oha. The lieutenant drinks from her cup and crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes her doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. Where should we start? What should I know about the peninsula? I'll tell you what I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I'll guess it would be 3-4 days? When you confirm, she continues. From here you can reach the coast in about a day, and as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get there? You nod. The sea route allows Hovlavan officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages, collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools. But maintaining order on a wild coast such as this one is like filling the ocean depth with coins. Because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore, and boats can't get much closer. She nods. I don't know much about fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with the city folk. As she pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to the camp, but when we travel to the roadside inn, Pelt of the North, they're happy to trade and play dice. Okay, Pelt of the North ist ein Inn, was wir uns vielleicht merken sollten. Why not just stay at one of the settlements? The man clears his throat. I mean, you know, we're to guard this road. This camp is our post, and, well, he turns toward Tulia. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, Turner, but are you a devout soul? Kurz mal lesen. Okay. Ich sage einfach mal das hier. For many years I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of the Order of Truth. Oh, I see. She hesitantly looks away. I don't know much about that river of faith, but I'm sure we are not that different. I'm a Unite myself, she saith with a sort of pride in her voice. So she follows the United Church. Maybe just explain what you were thinking of. The people here are disquieting. Every few words she taps the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials here. Here, she starts to draw lines with her index finger, as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an eremite. You nod. She means a fellowship. They do crazy shit, her companion chips in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there. I see. You've heard tales of such as this once since you were a child. If an isolated settlement manages to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages, the bringers of doom, the traitors of humankind. Okay, necromancers. Any monsters worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? We saw all sorts of beasts. The man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants? Cats large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars, mufflin eaters, griffins. But we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts. Tulia glances at a companion. Though a palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. There are not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting among themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck. Were you able to speak with these necromancers? You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it, the lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a Roadwarden. The roads are dangerous, with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first, and soon. Tulia nods. The Pelt of the North is a safe place. You can talk with the innkeep or the guards, ask them about the roads. And how about the east? She stares off across the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forest, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. That's all I need to know. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. Any ideas what happened to the previous Roadwarden? Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him for almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirmed that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife, without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on the wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave at dawn. Unlike us, Asterion never gets bored. Tulia lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in the basement. The man coughs with passion. We haven't seen him or his saurian. Something ate him, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer Roadwardens often use four-legged, meat-eating saurians as their mounts. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching, but unlike horses, can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable, and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message. Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, said Tulia. My predecessor left no clues. We also took a look at Asterion's stuff. Wait, she raises her open palm. I almost forgot. Asterion. She stands up and heads for a nearby tent. He has kids in a village near Hovlevan. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, some potions, quite a treasure. She glances at you, but I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff? Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of the sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned and you know nothing about her, she either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with a resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us. Tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to Havlavan together. You think about your real mission. You were planning to return to Havlavan in the early fall anyway. Muss mal kurz einen Schluck trinken. Meine Güte, ist das viel zu lesen. Bis jetzt gefällt mir die Welt so vom Aufbau schon mal ganz gut. Also nicht eine typische Weltmap, wie man vielleicht jetzt denken könnte vom Aufbau her, sondern eher im Sinne von die Hintergrundstory. Finde ich schon mal ganz interessant. Das Setting. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all of his possessions. True. Oh, new journal entry. Find the Roadwarden. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'd begrudge you anything. And who knows? You may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear mostly. Maybe 5 feet tall, but stout. Long red beard. Short hair, pale face, rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. So find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left. Just let me know. What happened to your squad? The man shrugs. Bandits happened. And monsters. A strong band, though. His companion chips in. We've got to the peninsula in spring. We saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. Oh, okay. If he had decided otherwise, we would have all died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretend to be soldiers, stay there at night, lose everything you have. Sounds like slave hunters. Tulia sighs, very much so. They killed some and took away others. Who knows where? They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 or 4 people died. Don't exaggerate. It's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them and take over their camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road. Saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well? Nothing that will surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place, without a good leader, and they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a trend. Another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of ritual hunt, so a werebear tore her to pieces. The last one tried to act tough, didn't tell us that he had a cut on his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She lets out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north, find a new life, disappeared. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. I stay silent. Tulia seems defeated. What was your squad's mission? The lieutenant looks into your eyes. You know, the usual, making the road safe, keeping people alive. I explained that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. I can't really tell you. You sense no hesitation. Do you have any other questions? Tulia, how did you become lieutenant? That's not much of a story, honestly. She looks at her hand, which is currently rolling a muck over the table. In this city, there's a strict order of, what should I call it? She exchanges look with her companion, but he can't help her. Well, leadership succession, I guess. Havlavan chiefs select commanders. So those select lieutenants, and those put their soldiers in order of priority. If a lieutenant dies, they get replaced by the next soldier in line. So you were his successor? Na, sie war die letzte, die über war. No, not exactly. When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either of them from a spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, pierced their heads, completely avoiding the shield. Really unpleasant. She pauses. And you were the third one in line, isn't that right? Nee, die vierte wahrscheinlich. Sind doch 3 gestorben, oder? Basically, yeah, she says without enthusiasm. I didn't plan to become a leader, though. I'd get demoted once we returned to the city. I prefer to follow anyway. Okay. Trust me enough to tell me about the squad's mission. Okay. Anything I should know about this camp? The story is brief. Some merchants built the camp and have an extra stop for mules and donkeys. Just between the inn and the southern villages, there's plenty of grass here, and a pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned, from time to time serving as shelter for travelers. The bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here whenever you want, the man concludes their tale, though don't expect to wake up without pain in your back. If you were me, where would you go next? The soldier answers quickly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest from here. If you can't afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more traveled, mentions Tulia, but the hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have the chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen, and knows many souls. Any tips on how I can make a good first impression on him? She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes. Stick to trade. Don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on. I've lost my rope. Could you spare one? You're in luck. She heads towards one of the crates and moves it aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down on her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind. I take a closer look. A fine rope. Regular rope made of hemp fibers. I take it and offer some food in return. I do? Buy. Buy for 0. Oder Food? Ich habe kaum noch Food. Aber das könnte vielleicht... nee, buy für nie. 0. Tulian nods. For now, you leave the rope at the table. It's getting late. We should prepare for the night. We very much should. Tulia sighed with relief, and you'll need a lot of sleep on your journey. Open your archive to reread most of the text. Yeah, okay. Return. I stand up and prepare for the night. You go to the barrel and splash water on your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. I look for a place protected from wind and use my back as a pillow, but put my blanket on the ground and cover myself with a cloak. Stay tidy to have a better chance to influence others. Appearance. 2 von 5. You don't stand out from the crowd. You won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. Okay. You aren't used to sleeping in such harsh conditions, but it's better than nothing. The weather is gentle, maybe you won't catch a cold. The stars instantly inspire your dreams, both with their splendor and by making you look for patterns and shapes among them. Your job starts tomorrow. I focus on the real goal of my journey. Okay. The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Your wardening duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula, learn about the territory, resources and threats. Get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Hovlavan, officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers, or be a threat to the priest of the united church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery? At least I have time. 40 days to be exact. I need to be as thorough as I can. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Havlavan. There you report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goals to pursue. Okay, ich brauche extra Gold, um meinen Geschwister vor Schulden zu bewahren. Ich brauche Gold für mich. Okay. Ich möchte Politiker werden. Ich möchte ein Held sein. Ich möchte Leuten nur helfen. Ich brauche ein neues Leben, denn ich hatte eine schwere Vergangenheit. Ich brauche Connections mit den lokalen Leadern. Ich will ein cooler Politiker werden. Your half-asleep senses are catching the sound of the wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious. Though the pleasant, humid late summer air evens it out slowly. You can travel during the night. Press the sleep button to rest. You're thinking about your goal, but you need to gather your strength. All I can do now is rest. Nighttime. Okay, Zeit zum Schlafen. Sleeping on the ground. Your blanket won't be much of a bed, and the palisade barely covers you from the wind. Sleeping here will be severely uncomfortable. Okay. Zieht mir ein bisschen Leben ab und ich verliere ein bisschen Ausgeruhtheit, Hunger und ich bin noch dreckiger am Morgen. Sleep. Oh. Tür zu, Tür auf. You're surrounded by sunlight. Your back begs you to stand up. Before you fully awake, you smell a roast. No burning meat. Burning rotten meat. Disgust crawls towards your consciousness. You stand up. Normally you would dust off the cape and blanket, but your instincts are stronger than your routine. Your horse is looking around nervously. Your bags are where you had left them. You see an open gate. I go outside to see what's happening. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pyre. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Somber. Tulia is the first one to address you. Turner, she greets you with a nod. We used the horse's manure for the flames, so don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. A traveler or an undead? The latter, a young one. She lacked the Neuma to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear from a safe distance. She shifts her weight. One more fog and she'd be a real threat. Even now it took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours, and each moment it spends in the fog. Burning the dead is not only a religious practice, it's a necessity. Soldiers, priests, village mayors and even road wardens. Making a large pyre takes a lot of time, but it saves lives. Tulia calls this undead a she. Most unites hesitate to do so. Time for me to leave. Running away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She looks again at the fire. Find us here if you learn what happened to Asterion. We'll leave once the fall comes. If not sooner. Safe travels. These words make you stop. An old farewell mocked in a number of songs and tales, but yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. She observed the fire with one hand on her hip, the other one on her chin. I prepare myself for the journey. Prepare myself. You gather your equipment and spend half an hour warming up and preparing your mount, double-checking the buckle straps. You put on your gambeson and make sure that your axe is tightly attached on your belt, then get in the saddle, the paw-free knickers, ready to leave. It's time for you to get to the crossroad, north from here. Travel. Travel forward to continue the journey. Once you're done with the north, speak with Tulia to return to Havleven. Travel north, travel north. Okay. Even at a later hour, you won't expect to meet any travelers in the valley. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of birds is quickly replaced by the distracting screeches and gurgles, coming from further down the path. You soon find the pack of four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes and merge the feathers of birds and furred beasts. Each one is of a different size, coat and colors, and their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker fur. Their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they are too heavy to fly. About 24 beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. I consider my options. You can't enter the forest blindly. If these or other creatures were to chase after you, the thicket would be disastrous for your horse. There are reasons why travelers stay as close to the main roads as possible and why adventurers move in groups. Usually the safest approach would be to stay where you are and just wait for the pack to get hungry. It may, however, take up a couple of hours. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You've got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence. I can mark the action that involves a random chance, okay? On occasion, you can use the Scholar's Education to unlock a unique interactions. Knowledge. Your education could be of use here. I mix black powder with glabadon that grows nearby and dried skunk sorrel from my bag. Once I ignite it, I throw it at the griffins. They'll scatter. Most city folk feel aversion towards black powder, and you touch it with great care. The odor of the plants makes you feel dizzy, but what's more important is that these griffins would have wolf-like sensitivity to smell and noises. A few of the beasts turn their heads towards you as you approach the pack with the bag in your hand. You ignite the missile and throw it forwards. At first, the creatures surround the source of smoke, but then growl in disgust. Even putting their beaks to the ground, they flee, allowing you to continue your journey. Okay, Character. You can learn your abilities in the Character Sheet. Das finde ich gut. Character Sheet. Turner, the Roadwarden. Mir ist übrigens jetzt erst nach ein paar Mal aussprechen klar geworden, dass, ja, ich habe nicht dran gedacht, dass man den Wort halt als, das Wort als Turner, also T-U-R-N-E-R, Turner, der ein häufiger amerikanischer Vorname aussprechen kann. Purer Zufall tatsächlich, also habe ich nicht dran gedacht. Okay, Training, Leaders North, Major Player Mansion. Okay, das sind die Dinge, die ich ausgewählt habe. Damit kann ich also nachchecken, was ich vorher mal gemacht habe. Religion, Seeker, a member of the Order of Truth. Ich kann darauf klicken, kann ich nicht. You pray to the right and follow the river of truth. For many years you've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magic research. Okay. I climb on the horse and cover my nose. I really need to find a proper alchemy set. Die erste Herausforderung schon mal geschafft. Gut gewählt. The new adventure. Keep track of your achievements as your journey unfolds. Okay. Hier oben? Nee. My name is Turner. I used to be a scholar. The road splits. According to what the soldiers have told you, you may find a safe inn by turning left. The forest to right is lush, and the trail overgrowth. Kids used to have this song. How did it go? The harshest pathways leads to the dragon's lair. Those who search for treasure, do you truly dare? The signpost in front of you doesn't make your situation much clearer. It was put there by someone who can't write. No folks who or for folks who can't read. Covered in old red paint, it points east. Blood there, as people say. Danger to be found. Okay, that's not a soul to ask your guidance. There's not a soul, okay. I look at my horse. What's its name? Venere is peaceful as you stroke its mane. Maybe it can't help you choose a path, but you've spent many years together. Happy to go on, it takes a couple of steps forward. You spot a few berry shrubs and wild cabbages, but they still need at least 2 weeks to gain maturity. Time to make a turn. Ja, nach Osten ist Blut, also gehen wir nach links. Nach Westen. Venere trots with ease, unbothered by the few branches covering the beaten roadway. The birds' songs and distant howls draw your attention to the forest, which gets sparser and brighter. You spot boars, roe deer and saurians. The sight of a nearby wolf pack worries you, but once you push your hips forward and your portrait enters a canter, the beasts don't even begin a pursuit. The speed alone will protect you from many dangers. You notice a stone tower taller than the trees. It must be the inn I've heard about. Schick. Niedliche Pixelart. Inns like this one fit the regions traveled by merchants, but you wouldn't expect a place of this size in a forsaken peninsula. The stone and lumber must have been transported from far away, and the workers, guarded by expensive mercenaries, surely lived for many seasons in a primitive hamlet, subsisting on salted supplies. There are seemingly no cracks in the wall, and the building was whitewashed only a few years back. The road is wide and beaten. Dozens of souls could hide, if not in the buildings, then at least in the yard. The expenses and labor put into this fortress were worth many trading ships. 3 armed people are on the ramparts, though they only see what's above the waistline. They are leaning on the parapet right next to the gate, and think you notice a glimpse of smile. They wear gambesons, and each one of them dyed differently, yellow, green, and linen grey. I approach the gate. Hail there! A woman in yellow armor leans forward. She has long, curly, disorderly red hair, pointing in every possible direction. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw this much attention. There's still a fair distance between the two of you, but she speaks loudly. I haven't seen a horse for years now. I just said that it's weird to see such a large jackass, huh? Her voice is young and strong, with an accent that reminds you of the villages spread around Havrevan. But no jackass would wear a saddle, I'd say. She exchanges a few words with the male guard wearing green, giving you time to move closer. Well, this one here says there really are donkey saddles. Say, traveler, how hard is it to ride a horse? Wir sind mal playful. Mal einen kleinen Joke machen hier. I laugh. You wouldn't believe it. The lessons were a pain. You get off your horse and an imitate the silly walk from the day that followed your first long journey, when your whole shell was crying. You illustrate the pain as you move your hand from your back to hips, then thighs. In return, the guards tell you about the time when they had to carry their friend with bitten off legs for 3 days straight through the heart of the woods. Meanwhile, the other guards open the gate. You may be in a good mood, the woman in the yellow jacket smiles at you, but don't get so noisy when you talk to a boss. The man never smiles. He has the words suffering sculpted on his face. She leads you onto the roof under which your palfrey can rest, tethered with a cord to the wooden post, near some old hay. Once you're ready, go inside, speak with our boss. Maybe you're hungry. The other guards take care of your various chores. They peek at you, mount everyone every now and then at their splitting firewood, cleaning their clothes, weeding the garden patches and moving chairs. 2 of them are making a rope. You head towards the inn, hearing the piercing scream of a boar from the other side of the yard. I open the door. New Shelter unlocked. Schick. Okay, hier oben Raum mit sogar einer Kiste. Ach, wie schön. Schön ist das alles gezeichnet. The locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. A muscular man is sweeping the floor near the stairs, but after he glances at you, he leans the broom against the wall and heads behind the counter. You're lucky to show up. The voice is deep and soft. You are in an inn. In the morning, you can spend the entire day on resting. You're lucky to show up. His voice is deep and soft, with a city-like accent. He observes you with keen attention, yet avoids your eyes. I've a keg of decent ale. Wormwood, bog myrtle, juniper berries, cat's foot. He fills a mug carefully and puts it on the countertop. It's going to spoil soon, today maybe, and we don't drink here before the even. I hate to see the good stuff going to waste. His skin is dark, almost purple, rare even among the southern tribes, and his hair is naturally bluish. His clothes are quite fancy for manual labor. The elegant tunic won't stand out in the city square. I stand at the counter. The planks let out a creak after every step you make, so you slow down a bit. You could swear that the innkeeper made little to no noise. Here you go. He pushes the mug forward. But just so you know, my pelt of the north doesn't belong to Havlevan. You can sleep on the floor if you wish so, but if you want a bed or a meal, you have to pay. We may have some leftovers for dinner, but I'd need to check. Friendly. Friendly. Thanks for the drink. I see you know how to make friends with a Roadwarden. He meets your eye with a puzzled look, then grabs a wet cloth and starts to wipe down the shelves. From time to time your conversation is interrupted by splashes of dirty water in a wooden bucket. Meine Güte nochmal. While nothing is truly free, I have to work for a soul of the road, but I don't need a new mouth to babble. He speaks slowly, yet audibly. I value my time, and you should value yours. I drink the ale. The dark room and wooden walls of the mug make the liquid look as brown as a chestnut. The lean spring hits your nose, and the first sip is even too complex, too flowery. While the brewer has used fancy ingredients, the exotic licorice ruins the aftertaste. Now you know why there's so much left. Maybe it takes an acquired taste. The innkeeper nods. I was hoping to see someone willing to patrol the roads. Maybe you'll help me with a worrying thought I have. Which is? There are brigands in the woods. Our place is a stronghold, so I'm not afraid of an open strike. But they've gotten more active in the last 2 years. One day they may steal our furs, and I've no doubt they're the reason why merchants come here only once. Having bandits around gets expensive. He rubs his hands together, camouflaging his paws. I want you to reach Howlersdale, northwest from here. It's the largest settlement around. I'm sure you'll get there sooner or later. Ask Thais, the mayor, about Glaucia, the bloodthirsty wolf of a woman. I've heard rumors about a raid in the north. If Glaucia is ready to break the truce with the locals, I'm willing to join forces with them to get rid of a band. She looks at nearby Dragonbone. Not too difficult, right? Just do it when you have a chance. A couple of days won't make much of a difference. I'll pay you 2 coins when you get back with the news. Fine. Fine? I nod. Great. What else do you need? I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. Are you now? He goes to the table and invites you to sit down with him. I don't think I'm going to be much of help. He rests his elbow on the tabletop and grunts quietly to clear his throat. But I do want you to find him, so... When asked about his intentions, he measures his words. Asterion and I made a risky deal. Well, a promising one. Last time he was here, he took 50 coins. My half of the investment. He knocks on the table with a fist anxiously. If you get my coin, or at least find out what happened to the guy, I'm like sure you won't be disappointed after bringing me the news. Could it be that Asterion stole the coins and ran away? He looks at the window and starts to play with a shutter. I just think Asterion ain't the kind of soul that would do such a thing. For him it wasn't much of a fortune, and I'd risk saying he had earned trust. Not only mine, you know. It's easy for a Roadwarden to make connections. He always had places to go, things to take care of. He rubs the table with a thumb, as if trying to clean an invisible stain. I've asked travelers if I've sent a couple of my pals to find him. No real news. I know he stayed in White Marshes for a day and was meant to do something for the people there. It's a village in the northwest. Just stay on the main road until you reach the bogs. Then enter them. You may get there before dusk. So let me know once you find anything, and we may yet return to the whole investment thing. I'll think about it. Okay. Okay. Ja, wie ich gerade auf der Uhr sehe, ist die Stunde auch schon wieder rum. Ich hoffe, es war nicht zu schlimm mit meinem Vorgelese. Ich bin einfach nicht sehr geübt in englischer Aussprache. Schreiben und so überhaupt kein Problem. Lesen auch kein Problem. Vorlesen, da wird's schon kritisch. Und naja, mache ich halt einfach nicht so oft. Ich hoffe, es war trotzdem okay. Ich finde es sehr interessant. Es hat gerade noch so ein Visual Novel-Style-Vibe auf mich. Und ich mag eigentlich Visual Novels. Werde ich auf jeden Fall weiterspielen. Denn mir gefällt auch der Stil. Also das ist halt so nicht nur um meine Entscheidungen in so einer Konversation geht, sondern eben auch um meine Werte, die ich da rechts hier habe und die mir dann irgendwelche Sonderfähigkeiten geben oder dass ich darauf achten muss. Also ich fühle mich gerade so, als ob ich noch lange nicht mal aus dem Tunnel raus bin. Aber freue mich auf all das, was noch kommen wird. Ja, und werde es auf jeden Fall weiterspielen. Würde es auch jedem empfehlen, der jetzt gerade danach fragt, ob das was für ihn wäre. Also wenn man irgendwie sowas wie irgendwelche Visual Novels oder sowas mag oder Rollenspiele oder so, dann könnte das was sein. Viel lesen muss aber drin sein. Also wer Planescape Torment gespielt hat und das mochte, dann der ist hier, glaube ich, ganz gut aufgehoben. Gut, damit würde ich erstmal sagen, ist genug für heute. Nächstes Mal wieder was mit weniger Lesen vielleicht. Und bis dahin sage ich einfach mal schönen Abend noch und Tschüss.